Hello, I'm Todd Phillips, the editor of Canadian Auto Dealer. We're here today with Eric Marshall, the director of Genesis Canada. Eric, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the new role.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much.
And we're here today to talk about something really unique. It's an industry first. It's a partnership between Genesis and Forbes Travel Guide. Tell us a bit about that.
Absolutely. So the partnership between Genesis Canada and Forbes Travel Guide is actually an industry first. In the automotive world, it's a first in Canada, but it's also a first globally. So we're very excited about that. The timing also is very good for Genesis Canada. We first launched the brand a few years ago, offering an at-home service for our guests. And now we're progressing into what we call like a more of an omni-channel business model, where now we're introducing new facilities and giving our guests an option to either have an at-home service or come to visit us in our retail facilities. So the timing is fantastic. And Genesis Canada and our partners, our distributors, have now opened 4 retail experience centers, 2 in the province of Quebec, so 1 in Quebec City and another in Sherbrooke, a 3rd in the province of Ontario in London, and a 4th in Saskatchewan in Saskatoon.
And so why Forbes? I mean, it's obviously an iconic luxury brand. People recognize the magazine and sort of this certification standard. So why did you feel that brand was a good fit for Genesis this time?
Genesis Canada has based its business model on delivering an exceptional guest experience. And having partnered with Forbes Travel Guide allows us to be able to communicate that with guests who are searching for an enhanced experience in the market.
So for those that maybe are not familiar with that, I mean, I know there's the Michelin Guide for rating restaurants and Forbes Travel for the luxury experience. Tell us a bit about, what that means as a guest goes into one of your distributorships and has that experience. What does it mean if they see the in partnership with Forbes there, that they've met that standard?
What it means to our guests and our potential guests is that our Genesis distributors are very serious about delivering an exceptional experience. And here at Genesis Canada, what we've done is we've actually set the bar very high by introducing our brand standards. And we've been working over the past few years with our distributors to make sure that they integrate these brand standards into their daily processes. Now we're introducing Forbes Travel Guide to help us mainstream the brand standards with the daily processes and make sure that we align those with the guest expectations. So it's a simple recipe that allows us to remain focused on the guest experience.
Well, how important is that? Obviously, in all markets, in the OEM world, they're all trying to elevate the guest experience, but in the luxury brands in particular, it's become really a hallmark of a differentiator. So how important is it for your distributors to really be a part of that? So.
This partnership with Forbes Travel Guide means everything to our Genesis distributors. As you're aware, it's a very competitive landscape out there. And being able to focus on the guest experience allows Genesis Canada to stand out, but also win in the market. We're still a very young brand. We've only launched about 6 years ago. We've grown our network to 30 distributors across the country. And now we're in a phase where we're actually building our retail experience centers to be able to host our guests. And being able to focus in and hone in on the guest experience will allow us to align with the guest's expectation when it comes to facility and hospitality excellence.
Well, certainly setting the bar very high for your distributors to try to maintain that standard, to compete, if you will, for that ranking. And I guess I understand they'll be able to affix a plaque or have some sort of recognition within the facility itself, so the guests will see that they've met that certification standard, right?
Absolutely. So the goal here is to make sure that each one of our Genesis distributors enter a partnership with Forbes Travel Guide. The end goal that we're aiming for is that each one of our partners actually has a Forbes Travel Guide plaque at the front entrance of each one of their facilities. What we want is that whenever a guest comes to visit us, they know, when they see the plaque, they know that they're dealing with the best of the best in the industry, and that they should expect the same level of facility and hospitality excellence that they've come to know in other leading industries such as hotels, restaurants, and business travel.
For your distributors, are they excited about having to meet this new standard? They're going to be vetted and measured and such, but are they excited to try to hit that level for their guests?
Yes, they're very excited about meeting these new standards. Actually, Genesis Canada had hand-selected each one of our Genesis partners based on their ability to deliver an exceptional guest experience, but also based on their entrepreneurial spirit and be able to adapt to any situation. What they're required to do is actually complete 3-step level of training to meet their partnership with Forbes Travel Guide. And the first being is relating back to our brand standards and tying them into their everyday processes. Secondly, working with Forbes Travel Guide is making sure that those standards and those processes align perfectly with the guest expectations. And thirdly, our distributor partners need to commit to ongoing and continuous training through our Genesis Foundations program. Overall, when you combine these different facets of training and working in partnership with Forbes Travel Guide, Genesis Canada is trying to redefine and enhance its guest experience every time.
Well, I applaud you for the initiative. It's not often we talk about an automotive first, and certainly here in Canada. I mean, this is a global first, so kudos to you guys for really being the first out of the gate to try something like this. So.
Thank you very much for having me. I truly believe that this partnership with Forbes Travel Guide is going to allow Genesis Canada to continue to redefine and enhance the guest experience in the Canadian market.
Signing off.